Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutirya Nashvaraishu Avatareshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 2, Prayers with the Demigods for Lord Krishna in the Womb. Text number 16 onwards. So yesterday we saw how Lord Krishna had ordered Yogamaya to take Devaki's seventh pregnancy, Sankarshan, into the womb of Rohini. Bhagwan api Vishwatma Bhaktanam Abhayankara Aviveshan Shubhagena Man Anak Dundubhe. Thus the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the super soul of all living entities and who vanquishes all the fear of his devotees, entered the mind of Vasudeva in full opulence. So his appearance is not the same as we take birth. So he entered the mind of Vasudeva first, and with full opulence. The word Vishwatma refers to one who is situated in everyone's heart, Ishvara Sarva Bhutana. Another meaning of Vishwatma is the only lovable object for everyone. Because of forgetfulness of this object, people are suffering in this material world. But if one is fortunately revives his old consciousness of loving Krishna and connects with Vishwatma, one becomes perfect. The Lord is described in the third canto as follows: Paravaresho Mahad Ansha Yukto Hiyajo Api Jato Bhagwan. Although unborn, the Lord, the master of everything, appears like a born child by entering the mind of a devotee. The Lord is already there within the mind, and consequently, it's not astonishing for him to appear as if born from a devotee's body. The word Avivesh signifies that the Lord appeared within the mind of Vasudeva. There was no need for a discharge of semen. That is the opinion of Shripad Sridhar Swami and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. In the Vaishnava Toshani, Srila Sanatana Goswami says that consciousness was awakened within the mind of Vasudeva. Srila Veera Raghavacharya also says that Vasudeva was one of the demigods and that within his mind the Supreme Personality of God had appeared as an awakening of consciousness. So whether he appeared as awakening of consciousness, whether he appeared himself, whether he was always there as Paramatma but he just appeared, he appeared. See, even Prabhupada is quoting 4 different acharyas, and 2 of them have the same opinion and 2 others have different opinions. But they all are bona fide acharyas. They all are in the line of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. But the principle is the same. Some details are different. That's all. Sabibrit Porusham Dhama Bhrajamano Yatha Ravi Durasado Ati Durgharsho Bhutanam Sambhabhuha. While carrying the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within the core of his heart, Vasudeva bore the Lord's transcendently illuminating effulgence, and thus he became as bright as the sun. He was therefore very difficult to see or approach through sensory perception. Indeed, he was unapproachable and unperceivable, even for such formidable men as Kansa, and not only for Kansa, but for all living entities. We are also carrying Supreme Personality of Godhead in the core of our heart as Paramatma. He is there, but we are not aware of him. Our consciousness is not that pure. Vasudevji, pure, with pure consciousness, he was carrying the Lord. So what happened? He bore the Lord's transcendently illuminating effulgence, and thus he became as bright as the sun. And that is why when we see pictures or paintings of acharyas, the painter always draws a halo around his face. to signify that he is carrying the Lord's illumination, effulgence, and he is connected with the Lord, completely connected. The word dham is significant. Dham refers to the place where the Supreme Personality of Godhead resides. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Dhamna Srena Sudha Nirasta Purukam Satyam Param Dhimahi. In the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there is no influence of material energy. Any place where the Supreme Personality of Godhead is present by his name, form, qualities, or paraphernalia, immediately becomes a dham. For example, we speak of Vrindavan Dham, Dwarka Dham, and Mathura Dham, because in these places the name, fame, qualities, and paraphernalia of the Supreme Godhead are always present, because he is there. There is a difference between Dham and Tirtha. Dham means where he lives, where he performs his pastimes. Tirtha is a pure place where some purity is there, where Lord might have visited sometime to do some pastime, but otherwise he lives in his dham. Similarly, if one is empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead to do something, the core of his heart becomes a dham. And thus he becomes so extraordinarily powerful that not only his enemies, but also people in general are astonished to observe his activities. Because he is unapproachable, his enemies are simply struck with wonder, as explained here by the words, Durasado Atidura Darsha. The word Paurusham Dham have been explained by various acharyas. Sri Veera Raghavacharya says that these words refer to the effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vijayadhva says that they signify Vishnu Tejas, and Shukdev says Bhagvat Swarupa. The Vaishnav Toshani says that these words indicate the influence of the Supreme Lord's effulgence. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that they signify the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So again, different acharyas are saying different things about what is this effulgence that Vasudevji was carrying. So, but principle-wise, they're all the same. Tato jagan mangalam achyutansham samahitam shura sutena devi tatahara sarvatmakam atma bhutam kashcha yatha nandakaram manastaha. Thereafter, accompanied by plenary expansions, the fully opulent Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is all auspicious for the entire universe, was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki. Devaki, having thus been initiated by Vasudeva, became beautiful by carrying Lord Krishna, the original consciousness for everyone, the cause of all causes within the core of her heart, just as the East becomes beautiful by carrying the rising moon. So from Vasudevji's mind, he first went to the mind of Devaki, and from Devaki's mind, he went to Devaki's heart. And she became very beautiful. She is the mother of the Supreme Lord, carrying the Supreme Lord within her heart. We can only imagine. As indicated here by the word manasta, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was transferred from the core of Vasudev's mind or heart to the core of the heart of Devaki. We should note carefully that the Lord was transferred to Devaki not by the ordinary way for a human being, but by Diksha or initiation. Yes, that word also came, Devaki having thus been initiated by Vasudeva. So what does it say? Thus the importance of initiation is mentioned here. Unless one is initiated by the right person who always carries within his heart the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot acquire the power to carry the Supreme Godhead within the core of one's own heart. So that is why initiation is important, but from whom we have to take initiation, that is also important. course, both Vasudeva and Devaki, they are the parents of the Lord. So immediately the Lord appeared from Vasudeva's mind into the heart of Devaki, and she also became beautiful. So she was the right recipient of the Lord. Are we the correct recipient? We are still trying. The word Achyutansham is used because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Shad Aishwarya Purna, full in opulences of wealth, strength, fame, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation. The Supreme Godhead is never separated from his personal opulences, as stated in the Brahma Samhita, Ramadi Murti Shukala Niyamena Tishta. The Lord is always situated with all his plenary expansions, such as Ram, Nrsimha, and Varaha. Therefore, the word Achyutansham is specifically used here, signifying that the Lord is always present with his plenary expansions and opulences. There is no need to think of the Lord artificially, as yogis do. So the Lord is always present with all his expansions and opulences. All we have to do is become qualified, eligible, and the Lord will show up himself. Yogis meditate upon the Supreme Person within the mind. For a devotee, however, the Lord is present, and his presence need only be awakened through initiation by a bona fide spiritual master. The Lord did not need to live within the womb of Devaki, for his presence within the core of her heart was sufficient to carry him. One is here forbidden to think that Krishna was begotten by Vasudeva within the womb of Devaki and that she carried the child within her womb. So, Lord was never in the womb of Devaki. That's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Janma Karma Chame Divyam. It's all transcendental. All you have to know it by truth. That's all. When Vasudeva was sustaining the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart, he appeared just like a glowing sun, whose shining rays are always unbearable and scorching to the common man. The form of the Lord situated in the pure and unalloyed heart of Vasudeva is not different from the original form of Krishna. The appearance of the form of Krishna anywhere and specifically within the heart is called Dham. Dham refers not only to Krishna's form, but to his name, his form, his quality, and his paraphernalia. Everything becomes manifest simultaneously. So wherever Krishna performs his pastime, that is Dham, but also wherever his name is being chanted, sung, distributed, that also becomes Dham. Thus, the eternal form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, with full potencies, was transferred from the mind of Vasudeva to the mind of Devaki, exactly as the setting sun's rays are transferred to the full moon rising in the east. So nice simile is given. In the heart of Vasudeva, he appeared like the glowing sun. But the shloka says, when he came to the heart of Devaki, just as the east becomes beautiful by carrying the rising moon, full moon. Now, why Devaki was carrying Krishna and she looked like full moon, and Vasudevji, when he was carrying, he looked like sun. Let's see. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, entered the body of Devaki from the body of Vasudeva. He was beyond the conditions of the ordinary living entity. When Krishna is there, it is to be understood that all his plenary expansions, such as Narayana and incarnations like Lord Nrsimha and Varaha, are with him, and they are not subject to the conditions of material existence. In this way, Devaki became the residence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is one without a second and the cause of all creation. Devaki became the residence of the Absolute Truth, but because she was within the house of Kansa, she looked just like a suppressed fire or like misused education. When fire is covered by the walls of a pot or is kept in a jug, the illuminating rays of the fire cannot be very much appreciated. Similarly, misused knowledge, which does not benefit the people in general, is not very much appreciated. So Devaki was kept within the prison walls of Kansa's palace, and no one could see her transcendental beauty, which resulted from her conceiving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. so, so she was carrying the Lord, and she also became effulgent. In fact, before also, when she was carrying Balramji in her womb, or Sankarshan, she became so effulgent and so beautiful, even Kansa could not look at her. And when that pregnancy or embryo or Sankarshanji was moved to the womb of Rohini, Kansa actually became very happy that, oh, he was thinking this seventh child became so scared of me that he died. She had a miscarriage. But now within 15 days, now Devaki is beautiful again. She's effulgent, illuminating, and giving off like the rays of full moon, cooling everywhere, cooling effect. Now again he would be afraid. Kansa would be so afraid. Commenting upon this verse, Srila Veer Raghavacharya writes, Vasudeva Devaki Jatarayor Hridayor Bhagavata Sambandha. The Supreme Lord's entrance into the womb of Devaki from the heart of Vasudeva was a heart-to-heart relationship. Sa Devaki Sarva Jagan Nivasa Nivasa Bhuta Nitaramna Reji Bhogendra Gehe Agni Shikheva Ruddha Saraswati Jnana Khile Yatha Sat. Devaki then kept within herself the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all causes, the foundation of the entire cosmos. But because she was under the arrest in the house of Kansa, she was like the flames of a fire covered by the walls of a pot, or like a person who has knowledge but cannot distribute it to the world for the benefit of human society. So Prabhupada mentioned that in the previous verse, Prabhupada. In this verse, the word Gyan Kal is most significant. Knowledge is meant for distribution. Although there is already much scientific knowledge, whenever scientists or philosophers awaken to a particular type of knowledge, they try to distribute it throughout the world. For otherwise, our knowledge gradually dries up and no one benefits from it. India has the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, but unfortunately, for some reason or other, this sublime knowledge of the science of God was not distributed throughout the world, although it is meant for all of human society. Therefore, Krishna himself appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and ordered all Indians to take up the cause of distributing the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita throughout the entire world. Jara Deka Taraka Krishna Upadesh. So, Prabhupada is saying this knowledge is there in India, but we are not distributing it. And in one of the purports of Bhagavatam, he wrote that because Indians did not take up this knowledge and did not distribute it, the whole world is in chaos. And the responsibility lies with the Indians. So we have to give this knowledge out. Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Shri Krishna as they are given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. Although India has a sublime knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, Indians have not done their proper duty of distributing it. Now, therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement has been set up to distribute this knowledge as it is, without distortion. Although previously there were attempts to distribute the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, these attempts involved distortion and compromise with mundane knowledge. But now the Krishna consciousness movement, without mundane compromise, is distributing Bhagavad Gita as it is, and people are deriving the benefits of awakening to Krishna consciousness and becoming devotees of Lord Krishna. So previously, even though Bhagavad Gita was read and written so many commentaries upon all over the world, but how many devotees were made? This is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita, for one to surrender to Krishna, to become a devotee of Krishna. Hardly anybody became a devotee of Krishna reading those commentaries. Forget about readers, even the author did not become a devotee. But since Prabhupada wrote his commentary and he says, without any distortion and compromise with mundane knowledge, so many devotees, so many people became devotees, and they're still becoming by reading Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, the proper distribution of knowledge has begun, by which not only will the whole world benefit, but India's glory will be magnified in human society. Kansa tried to arrest Krishna consciousness within his house, Rajendra Gehe, with the result that Kansa, with all his opulences, was later vanquished. Similarly, the real knowledge of Bhagavad Gita was being choked by unscrupulous Indian leaders, with the result that India's culture and knowledge of the Supreme were being lost. Now, however, because Krishna consciousness is spreading, the proper use of Bhagavad Gita is being attempted. So nicely put that Kansa, he kept Krishna, or mother of Krishna, in his prison house. And the result was him, and with all his opulences, everything was vanquished. So similarly, anybody who tries to stop the distribution of Bhagavad Gita or this knowledge will definitely be vanquished. So because it's not different from Krishna. So we have to learn from this incident and just keep on distributing. Nothing can stop. Tam viksha kansa prabhaya jitantaram virochayantin bhavanam shuchismatam ahesh me pranaharo harir guham dhruvam shrito yanna pureyam idrishi. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead was within her womb, Devaki illuminated the entire atmosphere in the place where she was confined. Seeing her jubilant, pure, and smiling, Kansa thought the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, is now within her, will kill me. Devaki has never before looked so brilliant and jubilant. So Kansa was getting all this information, and he must be also visiting the prison house. Now he was really struck with fear. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Yada yada hi dharmas. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice or descendant of Bharat and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. In this age, at the present moment, there are inordinate discrepancies in the discharge of human duties. Human life is meant for God realization. But unfortunately, the materialistic civilization is stressing only the senses of the body, not understanding the living force within the body. As clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita, within the body is the body's proprietor, the living force, which is more important. But human society has become so fallen that instead of understanding the living force within the body, people have become busy with external things. This is a discrepancy in human duties. Therefore, Krishna has taken birth or taken shelter within the womb of the Krishna consciousness movement. Men of Kansa's class, therefore, are very much afraid and are busy trying to stop this movement, especially in the Western countries. One politician has remarked that the Krishna consciousness movement is spreading like an epidemic, and that if not checked immediately within 10 years, it may capture governmental power. Of course, that did not happen because Prabhupada started this 10th canto in 1977. It did not happen, but probably because of the lack of eligibility of the devotees. Otherwise, Krishna could have done anything through his devotees. He did through Prabhupada so many wonderful things. So all we have to do is just become more and more purified. That's all. There is, of course, such potency in the Krishna consciousness movement. as stated by authorities, Kali Kale Nama Rupe Krishna Avatar. In this age, Krishna has appeared in the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The Krishna consciousness movement is spreading like wildfire all over the world, and it will go on doing so. Men who are like Kansa are very much afraid of the movement's progress and acceptance by the younger generation. But as Krishna could not be killed by Kansa, this movement cannot be checked by the men of Kansa's class. The movement will go on increasing more and more, provided the leaders of the movement remain firmly Krishna conscious by following the regulative principles and the primary activities of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra regularly. So this is what Prabhupada has given the condition, provided the leaders, we all are leaders, one way or the other. So we have to remain Krishna conscious, that's all. And Krishna will do amazing things, as Prabhupada is explaining. So even Kansa was afraid. What is this happening with Devaki? And this is what happens when we are carrying Krishna in our heart and we are pure. Everybody, the demons, they become very alarmed, very afraid. Who are these people? So we'll stop here and see tomorrow what Kansa does. Okay. Any questions or comments?
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mata.
Getting to hear such a glorification of the Lord and then knowing this amazing fact of Krishna's advent is itself a grace, actually, and very much grateful. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mata. Okay, so we'll stop here. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri.